Come to today's presentation on how to register a company limited by guarantee in Nigeria. This type of company is regulated under Section 26 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and we will take an in-depth look at each section and all the subsections to know exactly what the law is saying. Over the next few minutes, limited by guarantee is, we also looked at the legal provisions that guides it. That's Section 26 and all its subsections. Then we'll also take a look at the registration process, the required documents, compliance obligations, and practical tips that will help you to succeed in the registration process. My goal is to make the subject easy to understand for both professional and a lay person. Let's now move over to the slides for more interactive session. Okay, we will start the slides by addressing the question before us. What is a company limited by guarantee? Okay, a company limited by guarantee is a non-profit company under CAMA 2020. It is formed strictly for purposes such as charity, education, religion, culture, science, or sports. Unlike regular companies, it has no shares or shareholders and does not issue any form at all. Members are called guarantors and they agree to contribute a minimum of 100,000 naira each if the company is wound up. This ensures credibility, functional financial responsibility, and importantly, sections 26 subsections 1 to 3 makes it clear that no part of the company's income can be distributed to members as profit. So all the finances of the company will be geared towards promoting the end of the company. Take a more detailed look at the section, just like I mentioned when I was introducing the lecture, that we will take a look at the subsections of Section 26 with that you need to know with regards to a company limited by guarantee. We will start by taking a look at Section 26 subsection 1 to 3. Then subsections 1 to 3 states that a company limited by guarantee can only be formed for specific non-profit purposes such as commerce, arts, science, culture, sports, religion, research, or charity. It's important to know that all income and property must be used to its objective. So all income accruing to the company must, just like I mentioned earlier, must, the keyword there, must be used to promote the objective, the main objective, be it commerce, be it at the main objective of the company. No portion of it can be paid to members as profit. Even if the memorandum, articles, or any resolution attempts to give members profit rights, it is void, because some persons might want to include such clause in their memorandum. If you do that, it is void ab initio, meaning that there is absolutely no foundation upon which such clause will rest. So it will fall like a pack of cards if it's tested in a court of law. So it's very important that you stick to what the company limited, the essence of a company limited by guarantee, which of such company. So in simple terms, the company cannot exist to enrich its members, rather it exists to serve the society. So its cardinal principle is service to the society and also to humanity, not basically for profit maximization. Okay, still on section 26, we'll now take a look at subsection 4 to 7. Subsection 4 requires that the memorandum of a company limited by guarantee cannot start with the Attorney General of the Federation's consent. The AGF has 30 days to grant or deny consent. So if the AGF remains silent, the promoters must advertise the application in 3 national newspapers inviting objections. Then if you go further to subsection 7 and 9, it explains that objections must be filed with the Corporate Affairs Commission within 28 days. It's very you take a note of the timeline, because if it's less, then the objection is not yet matured in order for it to be used in order to stop the registration of a company limited by guarantee. The CSA then considers them as the objection and may either uphold or reject them before forward. Still on 26, let's now take a look at subsection 8 and 10 to 10. Once all requirements are satisfied, Section 26, subsection 8 mandates that CAC itself will publish the application in 3 national newspapers. Just like we mentioned earlier, the promoters also has a responsibility to make their own publication if the Attorney General withholds or does not act within the statutory 30 days. The CAC on their own part dated to make the publication in 3 national dailies. This is to ensure transparency and allow public objections. If no objection is raised within 28 days, or if an objections are rejected, CAC may grant final approval and issue a certificate of incorporation. This step emphasizes that a company limited by guarantee is not a private affair. It requires public scrutiny since it holds itself out as serving society's interest. Sorry. Okay, we'll still go further to subsection 11 to 15, still on section 26 of CAMA 2020. Subsection 11 warns that if a company limited by guarantee illegally distributes profits. Its officers and members become personal company debt. Bill that is available to promoters of corporate entities such as this will not be available for them at that particular instance. So the corporate veil will be lifted so that they will not be liable for any debt of the company. Then subsection 12 and 14 sets the minimum guarantee per member, the sum of 100,000 naira, and imposes penalty. Members' guarantees fall below these threshold. Finally, subsection 15 provides that upon winding up, any leftover property cannot and will not be shared among members. Instead, it must be transferred to another company limited by guarantee with similar objective or applied to a charitable cause. This ensures assets always benefits the public. So a company limited by guarantee, mentioned earlier, is basically to serve the society, to provide service to the public, not in any way to maximize profit. So if you are thinking in that direction, just know that if what you need is to make profit, a company limited by a guarantee is not for you. Maybe you have to now register a company that is a limited liability company so that you can be able to maximize profit. But if your intention is to give back to the society, a company limited by guarantee is exactly what you need. Okay, we'll now take a look at the registry, CAMA, and the CAC's new ICRP portal. The registration process is both legal and procedural. You have to obtain the Registrar General's consent before reserving a name. So that's the first thing that you have to do when you want to register a company limited by guarantee. If you are registering any other company that is not limited by guarantee, a limited liability company, you don't need the Registrar General's consent. All you just need to do is to visit the CAC portal and then make your reservation. But in this instance, the consent of the Registrar General must be sought and obtained. Then reserve your chosen name through the Intelligence Company Registration Portal of the CAC. Once consent for 60 days. Then the next thing will now be for you to make sure comprehensively the memorandum and articles of association, and you must for compliance thing that has been captured in section 26 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, because if some of those requirements are not captured in your memorandum and articles of association, your application will be queried and you will be expected to go back, and consent will not even be granted. You'll be expected to go back to ensure that you comply strictly with the provisions of section 26. After you have done that, then the next will now be for you to upload all documents. Once you've done that, then you now pay the which is done electronically through the remitter platform, and then after you await the Attorney General's consent, because CAC will transmit your file to the Ministry of Justice so that the Attorney General will look at what, especially your memorandum and articles of association, to see if it's worth being registered as a company limited by guarantee. And once consent is granted, CAC will issue the certificates of incorporation, formally recognizing the company as a company limited by guarantee. Okay, we talked about you uploading the required documents. Let's now take a look at the so-called required document that you are supposed to upload in the CAC's into the CAC's portal. On the screen, the supporting documents are very detailed. You will need the personal details of all directors and the secretary, and just like I mentioned earlier, there are no shareholders, so no shareholder will be reflected. So it's only the directors and the secretary that you need their personal details, and it includes their age, their sex, their nationality, their residential address, phone number, and also very importantly their email address, and also copies of means of identification, that's passport photos, and the signatures must be uploaded. And also the proposed office address and company's main objectives are very much mandatory. The objectives must have already been captured in your memorandum of association, reflecting all that is relevant with regards to Section 26 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. And very importantly, a statement of guarantee showing members' financial commitment must be included. So importantly, under CAMA 2020, a company limited by guarantee cannot be converted to a company limited by shares. So promoters must be sure of their choice from the start. It's not when you have already commenced operation as a company limited by guarantee, then you will now later change your mind that, okay, I want to start making profit. No. In that instance, what you need is for you to go back and register a limited liability company that will ensure that you make the profits that you desire. But if you are running a company limited by guarantee, you have to make sure that all finances of the company is geared towards giving back to the society based on your main business, your main object, your foundational object, not business object. Then let's now take a look at the benefits of a limited liability company limited by guarantee. Choosing the company limited by guarantee, the structure provides credibility and legal recognition. Most donors, both local and international, requires NGOs to be registered as a company limited by guarantee before releasing funds. So if you have international donors that require that your NGO be registered as a company limited by guarantee and not as an incorporated trustee, you have to make sure that you fulfill that so as to be able to get the necessary fund in order to provide what the aims of the company, in order to provide for the community and also the society at large. And members enjoy limited liability, meaning they only contribute up to their guarantee if the company is wound up. If the company is wound up, the company winds up. So in this instance, you are not going to be personally liable. So you are only liable up to the 100,000 naira that the Act has provided that will be your contribution of all directors in case the company is wound up. This makes it safer than informal groups or unregistered associations. The structure also assures regulators and the public that such organization operates transparently and strictly for non-profit objective, reinforcing trust in its activities. So the benefits of limited company limited by guarantee cannot be overemphasized. There are many. They ensure you get the necessary legal recognition, trustworthiness, and also, very importantly, international funding so that you can be able to execute your objectives. Okay, everything that has benefits, there are also challenges. Let's now take a look at some of the challenges that you will face on your way in order to successfully register a company limited by guarantee. The main challenge is obtaining the Attorney General's consent, which can cause delays. This is the major challenge with regards to registering a company limited by guarantee in Nigeria. Sometimes the Attorney General may query your application and insist that you get approval from other relevant government agencies. For example, the Ministry of Education for a school-focused NGO before a final license is granted. This is just an example. You might be sent to the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Environment. It all depends on your principal objective. That will now determine what the Attorney General will query the application for, insisting that you get a consent from such a sister ministry. Also, the registration process is also documentation heavy, and it requires accuracy and legal precision. You have to make sure that all the required documentations are in place before you even commence the application, so that you will be going back and forth answering queries from either the Corporate Affairs Commission or the Ministry of Justice. Once registered, a limited by guarantee is locked into its non-profit nature, which means it cannot convert to a profit-making structure later. We have said it earlier. You have to make sure that you take this into consideration from the very start, so that you won't be going back and forth trying to make the conversion, which is impossible based on the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. And strict compliance with regards to annual returns, record keeping, and governance provisions under CAMA 2020 is required. You are expected to file your annual returns to ensure that you are still a going concern, that the company is not in the process of being wound up, and ensuring that all your records are well kept so that everything will be transparent. And despite these challenges, a guarantee company remains the gold standard for NGOs and public interest organizations. So if your organization is public interest, that's the focus of your organization is giving back to society, then you should take a stop and then think about registering such organization as a limited by guarantee company. Okay, let's look at some post-incorporation obligation. Post-incorporation simply means after incorporation, what are those obligations that are tied to that certificate of incorporation that has been issued to you? What are the expectations that you have to meet in order for you to continue to be a company limited by guarantee? After registration, obligation begins. A company limited by guarantee must file annual returns through the CAC's ICRP portal to remain active. That's one of the key things that you have to do in order to remain active, because there are so many other companies that are inactive on the CAC's portal, and after some time such companies will be delisted. So it's very important that you file your annual returns as at when due, so that your company will continue to be active, and also investors will take you serious because of the active nature of your company. They must maintain transparent accounting records that reflect their non-profit status. Your accounting record must show that all finances are geared towards giving back to the society and promoting the cause that the company was registered for. And also, regular board meetings and proper resolutions are expected for governance compliance. Most importantly, all operations must strictly align with the non-profit objectives stated at incorporation. Not when you have commenced operation, uh, the company will now become a profit-making venture. No, that would be going outside the expectations of CAMA. The expectation is that you continue giving back to the society. If you get wound up, you have to transmit everything that you have, all property and finances, to any sister organization that has a similar objective and aim. And most importantly, all operations must strictly align with the non-profit objective. We have said that. And any deviation, like profit distribution, can attract penalties, liabilities for officers, and even deregistration. So it cannot be overemphasized. Make sure that once you are registered as a limited liability company, keep focus, maintain exactly the expectation of CAMA, and do not share profit. If you want profit, go and register a limited company. Okay, we have completed this section on registering a company limited by guarantee in Nigeria. I've explained section 26 of CAMA 2020, by-step registration process, the compliance obligations. If you have any further questions, please drop them in the comment section of this video, and I will personally respond. Alternatively, you can reach us directly on WhatsApp with the number on your screen. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to your feedback. And for personalized consultations, further guidance, and additional resources on how to register a company limited by guarantee in Nigeria, you can visit our website to access our detailed guides, case studies, and expert insights designed to keep you informed of the latest regulatory updates and best practices. We also invite you to partner with us to leverage our deep industry knowledge and take the next step towards successfully registering your company as a company limited by guarantee in Nigeria. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to download this presentation for your future reference, and also you can subscribe to our channel for more valuable content such as this.